Afternoon to you as well, sir.
Yes, I am now recording this lecture. Usually, I do recording for uh, the students' future use. So I welcome all of you to the course BGE, Introduction to Ecological Chemistry. Before we start, let us introduce ourselves. So I am Tofazzal Islam. I am a professor in Institute of Biotechnology and Genetic Engineering and your course teacher. You may get, most of you probably know me, and if you do not know much about me, you can go through Google, because you can get all informations about me through browsing Google. Now I would like to ask one by one, please unmute and introduce yourself.
স্যার আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমি আবরার বিন ওয়াহিদ। আমার স্যার আন্ডার গ্রাজুয়েট কমপ্লিট করেছি পটুয়াখালী সায়েন্স অ্যান্ড টেকনোলজি ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে এগ্রিকালচারে। স্যার আমার বাসা ঢাকা, আমার হোম ডিস্ট্রিক্ট হচ্ছে পটুয়াখালী।
Excellent, Abrar Wahid, and welcome to our Institute of Biotechnology and Genetic Engineering, and especially my course Introduction to Ecological Chemistry. Next,
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
স্যার আমি অরিনব নীলা রহমান। আমি বিএস কমপ্লিট করেছি বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান এগ্রিকালচার ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে। আমার হোম ডিস্ট্রিক্ট চুয়াডাঙ্গা, ঢাকাতে থাকি। আর স্যার এখন আমি বায়োটেকনোলজি এন্ড জেনেটিক ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং এ এমএস করা শুরু করলাম আজকে থেকে।
Excellent. Next, Rojana, yes.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার, আমি আতফা নাজ।
Yes, please start and continue. Rojana, you started.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Rojana Binte Azad. I have completed BS from Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Agriculture University. My home district is Nator, and now I'm enrolled as a student in IBGE.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Next, how is Tasneem Jareen Khan? Are you okay?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I am Tasneem Zareen Khan. I have completed my BS degree from BSMRAU in agriculture and now biotechnology. I was COVID positive when admission was going on, but I have just got, I am
I hope you are getting well, and we want to see you fully recovered from the COVID. Next, Mahjabin Ferdousmin.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. This is Mahjabin Ferdousmin. I have completed my BS in agriculture from Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Agriculture University. My home district is in Norshindi and I live there as well. Thanks for having me here. Assalamu alaikum again.
Excellent. Next, Kashfi, please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I am Shamsin Hussain Kashfi. I just completed my undergraduate from Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Agricultural University, and now I am enrolled in IBGE, and my home district is Kustia, and I live in Dhaka.
Excellent. Another one, Naz Hassan.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমি আতফা নাজ। আমি পটুয়াখালী বিজ্ঞান ও প্রযুক্তি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় থেকে বিএসসি কমপ্লিট করেছি। আমার হোম ডিস্ট্রিক্ট বরিশাল এবং আমি ঢাকাতে থাকি।
Excellent. So one point is I welcome all of you to the course, those who graduated from BSMRU and Patuakhali Science and Technology University. This is very nice. We have a diversity from the point of students origin. One group, large group from BSMRU, another Patuakhali Science and Technology University. Usually in my course and in the Department of Biotechnology, we always care diversity. Those who are graduated from Patuakhali Science and Technology University, please make friends with the people, student or your friend from PSMRU, because here the education system, trimester system, a bit different from Patuakhali Science and Technology University. And you must follow the graduate catalog very strictly, then it would be no problem. The second point is that the instruction of delivering the course and interacting with the teacher, as well as exam, everything will be in English. So next time, whenever you ask question, please ask question in English, and it would be helpful for you to learn, communicative English also. Anyway, this course I have been offering since 2011, and I had very exciting experiences with the students, because this course, our undergrad students took very, very enthusiastically, because it is a bit unique course for them. And ecological chemistry, do you have any understanding what is ecological chemistry? Can anyone share your thought, what you feel about this course? What should be its content, and any impression about this course, because you already graduated, and 4 years, undergraduate course, lots of subjects you studied. So ecology, possibly you studied ecology, but ecological chemistry, can you guess what we will study in this course? Anyone?
Sir, I think it's how living organisms react to each other's chemical signals, or the chemical compounds they give off, and how they react to each other's, and how they evolve through it.
Fantastic,
Sir,
fantastic.
it's just a guess.
Yes, excellent. Ecological chemistry. Ecology, we know how in an ecosystem different organisms interact with each other. But ecological chemistry means how organisms in the ecosystem interacts with each other using a unique language, chemical language. That means they use different kinds of diverse chemical substances to talk each other, to interact with each other. For example, imagine when you are in a room at night time and no electricity, dark room, but mosquito finds you. How does mosquito find you? Mosquito uses chemical cues that emit from your body. There is a blend of chemical substances, but mosquito has a receptor. For example, in your television, there is a receiver, antenna. Antenna receives the weak signal, then there is an amplifier, it amplifies or magnifies, and then you can see the image and sound. Similarly, in chemical communication and interactions among the organisms, one organism emit or release the signal, and another organism has the receptor like the antenna and perceive the signal and amplify the signal and respond accordingly. For example, mosquito, our body emit different gaseous volatile substances, and that create a gradient. Gradient means close to your body, higher concentration, and gradually diffuse to the atmosphere. And mosquito antenna can sense that signal and follow the gradient and find the human and bite. But you cannot see mosquito do the same for the wall or television or others, because they do not emit such a specific signal. So this is really an important and very exciting subject. All the living organisms in this earth, they are interconnected and they have a common language, that is chemical language. And there are huge specificity in the chemical language. So we shall discuss. One of the exciting example is, already you studied in entomology, insect pheromone response. And one insect emit a pheromone signal and incredibly low concentration, but the other partner can sense and find the partner for mating or like that. Pheromone is not only for mating. There are various types of pheromones we can study. So we use the pheromone for safe, environmentally safe insect management tool, as a tool for management of insect in an eco-friendly manner. But in the natural system, pheromone-like compounds are incredibly high. As you know, on the Earth, there satellite or lots of signaling system. Even our mobile phone, as I am talking with you. So all signals are moving, but you see, my lecture is only perceived by your system. You have access to the signal and you can listen my talk and can see. So there are some specificity. In case of chemical signals, also we have a similar thing. So I hope young people always enjoy very much. For example, all of we love butterflies. Do you know why butterflies are so colorful? Can anyone answer?
To attract potential mates.
To attract potential mates. Any other? This is a very partial answer. Can anyone tell me why butterflies are so colorful, so beautiful? And what does it mean?
To blend in among its nature, the environment.
Not exactly. Anyone can add something? Flowers are also similar. Why flowers are so colorful? And flowers, some of the flowers have, very powerful aromatic compounds. All the questions we shall address. In case of butterflies, wings and body, they have diverse color and patterns, and they are not only pleasing us. No, they have no, the goal is not pleasing us or pleasing the poet or like that. These colors indicates some chemicals are there. This color is a language for communicating with, as Abrar Wahid mentioned, for the partner, but not only partner. The major role of the colors are warning the predator, because predator, by observing the color, they can understand what kind of toxins are there. If they eat, what would happen? And butterflies, in its earlier life stage, when it was, caterpillar, uh, it, uh, extracted toxic chemical substances from the plants and deposited in the wings, so smart way, and to protect themselves from the attack of predatory organisms like birds. So when a bird see a butterfly, you see, it can understand what kind of chemicals are there. And if bird eats the butterfly, what would happen? So these are the, very exciting co-evolutionary arm race between and among different organisms. I would like to show you some of the slide. Now, please tell me whether you can see the slide or not.
Yes, sir. I can see the slides clearly, sir.
Excellent. Excellent. And let me go for the, yes. Is it moving?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So introduction to ecological chemistry. This is a nice cue for you. Have you visited the Cox Bazar sea beach?
Yes, sir. I have, sir.
Okay. Have you seen this type of, cone snails? People use to make different ornaments. Cone snails. Beautiful color cone snails. And it was a cover story of one of the world famous journal proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in US. Cone snails belong to the genus containing 500 species of predatory snails. These snails produce small and highly structured venomous protein for capturing prey and combating predators. So you see, they are using, highly venomous proteins for two purposes. One is to capture the prey, because they eat small insects and others. So to kill the prey, as well as they use the toxin on their surface to deter the predators, because birds, even some fishes, they love to eat. But this color indicates and warn the predators not to eat. And these are basically modified amino acid, gamma carboxyglutamate or like that, and some of them contain sulfur molecules in the structure, and this is why very toxic. So this is one of the interesting example of chemical ecology or ecological chemistry. Efficient oxidative folding of conotoxin. Cone snails, so conotoxin, thus toxins are generally named as conotoxin, the radiation of venomous cone snails. So I'm not going details of this paper, and you have no need to go, but it is showing to you for giving how to say, sensitize you. Yes, this is very important slide. Ecological chemistry, you obviously meanwhile guess that this discipline is an advanced area of science which is linked to many other disciplines like chemistry, biology. So chemistry and biology, when interact in chemistry, especially natural product chemistry, in biology, chemical ecology. So some natural products are ecochemicals. And to understand this subject, you need basic knowledge, and some of the basic knowledge are very useful for industry, medicine, and agriculture. For example, pheromone, insect pheromone, scientists discovered through huge, research activities, and now they are industrially prepared, synthesized as a product, and they are being used in biorational management of insect in agriculture. Some of the ecochemicals are powerful human medicine. So we shall discuss all the aspects, and obviously around us and everywhere there is ecological chemistry. So how can we define ecological chemistry? Ecological chemistry is synonymous to chemical ecology. The last 3 decades have been witnessed the exciting development of cross-fertilization of such diverse discipline as ecology and biochemistry. That means ecological chemistry, this term, is a cross-fertilized term or hybrid of ecology and biochemistry. Simply, the marriage between ecology and biochemistry is termed as ecological chemistry. Ecological chemistry is a discipline of research which deals with understanding of complex interactions between or among different organisms in a given ecosystem via chemical signals. So what we will study in this course? In this course, we will discuss on the concept of ecological chemistry. Already you have received the definition, and various kinds of ecochemicals. Ecochemicals means chemicals involved in ecological interactions of different organisms living in the ecosystem. Biochemistry of pollination. You studied a lot on pollination, but the biochemistry of pollination, you will see more insight about the evolution and biology, interdependence of the organisms, or like that. So biochemistry of pollination, plant toxins, lots of plants worldwide are branded as medicinal plants because plants possesses lots of, secondary metabolites or primary metabolites or chemical substances. Some of them we can use as medicine. But why they produce lots of chemicals? We shall study in this subject, and their effects on animals, how plant toxins and plant chemicals affect on the animals. Because plants are only living organisms in this earth that have a powerful mechanism or a process called photosynthesis to trap solar energy to convert into chemical energy. And without a photosynthesis process, solar energy cannot be converted into chemical energy, and plants can do, and some other photosynthetic organisms they can do, and all other living organisms are depend on that energy source for their survival. So no organisms on this earth can be available or can be possible to stay on this earth without having directly or indirectly the energy produces by plant through photosynthetic process. Another topic we shall study on hormonal interactions between plants and animals. Plants and animals, exchange lots of hormonal substances, and these are really another interesting subject. Feeding preferences of invertebrates, including insects, and also vertebrates, including man. If you see in the earth, more than 5,000 millions of plants, green plants are on the earth. But if you see, we only eat 15 to 20 species. Why? And even an insect, a rice pest, never eat wheat. There are preferences, and those preferences are very, very interesting to be explored, and they are mostly regulated by the chemical substances, what we call ecochemicals. Plant defense and animal response. Plant, never born to eat by others, but all the living organisms on this earth, to get the energy, they need energy synthesized by the plant. So there is always a tendency of getting energy from the plant. Some, for example, we eat many plants, insect eat plants, animals eat plants, and plant has to survive. This is why they use different defense chemicals, and this is why all the plants you cannot eat. Some of them are very toxic. Even in case of animal also, they have the limited range of plant as food. Animal pheromones and defense substances. We also discuss about animal pheromones and defense substances. Animal has also chemical defense substances. For example, snake has the venom. Even wasp, honeybee, they have the venom or venomous substances. Ecochemical interactions between higher plant, lower plant interactions, molecular plant microbe interactions. Even plant, there are some interactions, and plant microbe interactions is very profound. The last topic, we shall study phytoallergens and plant immune system. A plant has no blood circulatory system as we have. We have very powerful immune system, and vaccine we took coronavirus vaccine for boosting our immune system. But in case of plant, they have no blood circulatory system as we have, but they have more sophisticated system. They have some, how to say, constitutive defense system. As in a country, we have army, navy, and air force. Plant has also similar weapons in their stock always, but if the enemy is powerful to overcome all the defenses, then they can instantly can make new chemical weapons, which is induced chemicals, toxin we called phytoallergen. So these are the interesting topic we shall discuss in this subject. Ecological chemistry, I guess you now have a broad view study of chemicals involved in the interactions of living organisms, and chemically mediated interactions between organisms are pervasive at all levels of biological organization. from microbes to humans, across all biomes and habitats. That means ecological chemistry is everywhere, from your intestine to, everywhere, wherever you see. And the scope of this subject is very broad. The development of ecological chemistry has been augmented due to the application of modern chemical techniques to biological system. In the past, people guess the interaction, but they had no tools to determine all the chemical substances to characterize. But now we have powerful system, NMR, gas chromatography, and many other spectroscopic methods. Even minute concentration of pheromones we can detect and characterize the structure. And also due to the awareness of ecologists that micro quantities, even nano quantities of chemical substances, and particularly secondary metabolites such as flavonoids, alkaloids, tannins, and terpenoids have a significant role in complex interactions occurring between animal and plant, or plant and plant, or plant and microorganisms, and so on in the natural environment. So the scope of this subject is huge. Some of the topics includes in this subject is signaling molecules, their functions, biosynthesis, how they prepared in the cell, signal transduction pathway, how we can sense an aromatic compound or like that. There is a pathway. Biochemical adaptation of plants and other organisms in adverse environment, for example, climate change or harsh environment, how plants and microorganisms, even human, can adapt to that environment. Detoxification of xenobiotics. Xenobiotics means man-made compound. When we use, for example, DDT or any other pesticide, herbicide, they are detoxified or break down by the microorganism. So it is also another scope. Biochemistry of plant pollination and productivity, because pollination and productivity is correlated. Defense mechanism of plants, plant immune system, and other organisms. Feeding preferences of insects and animals. Hormonal interactions between and among organisms. Another interesting point is co-evolutionary arm race. Arm race, from one country to another, there is an arm race. But arm race even can happen in the ecosystem. So one organism, if biosynthesize a toxin to defend itself from the enemy, then enemy also use another counter chemical to detoxify that one. So this arm race in the evolutionary process of different organisms are going on. And the last we shall discuss, how can we apply all the basic knowledge discovered in ecological chemistry in sustainable agriculture and clean environment and obviously sound health. So these are some basic points, but the scope of ecological chemistry is much more broad. I do not go more on the basic or a description of this course today, but I shall coin some of the important terms. For example, semiochemicals. Semiochemicals is a key word used in ecological chemistry. What is semiochemical? Semion means a signal in Greek. It originated from the Greek word semion. Semion means it is a generic term used for a chemical substance or mixture that carries a message. These chemicals act as messengers within or between the species. For example, pheromone. They usually used in the field of chemical ecology to encompass pheromones. Pheromones are also semi-chemicals. That means it is a broad term. Allomones, another group of semiochemicals. Chiromones, another group of attractant, repellent. We shall discuss what are pheromones, what are allomones, what are chiromones, allelopathy, and many other terms. So all insects use semiochemicals. All insects, even all plants use different kinds of semiochemicals. Possibility of the application of such new information in the control of insect pest and of microbial diseases in crop plants in a biorational way have been stimulated scientists for the conservation of natural communities. Another term you know very well, the pheromone. This word comes from Greek phero, to bear, and hormone means impetus. Pheromone is a secreted or excreted chemical factor that triggers a social response in members of the same species. If I ask you what is the difference between pheromone and hormone, you can think now, are there any difference between pheromone and hormone? There is a difference. The term pheromone was introduced by Peter Carlson and Martin Lusher in 1959, based on Greek word pherein, to transport, or hormone, to stimulate. That means pheromone needs to transport from one organism. That means one organism excrete it and another organism perceive it. But hormone in our case, for example, thyroid hormone, thyroxine, it is used by the same organism. So hormone is a physiological compound not secreted from the body. But in both cases, concentration is very critical. Very low concentration, they are active. So pheromones are chemicals capable of acting outside the body of the secreting individual to impact the behavior of the receiving individual. German biochemist Adolf Butenandt characterized the first such chemical pheromone named Bombicol, a chemically well-characterized pheromone released by the female silkworm to attract the male. So Bombicol is the simplest pheromone discovered by the scientists. So I am not going more today. So first pheromone, Bombicol, is the last topic of today's talk. We shall discuss more exciting thing in future lectures. So it is time for you to interact because only 7 students and interaction is the most important way of learning and sharing knowledge and even generating new ideas. So it is your turn now to ask some questions. Tasneem.
Sir, would you please repeat the definition of ecochemicals?
Very nice. Ecochemicals are chemical substances synthesized by the organisms which are involved in intra and interspecific communications in the ecosystems. For example, a pheromone produced by female silkworm, Bombicol, and when it secretes from its body, then it is perceived by the male, and male use that cue, chemical cue, and find the female for mating. So this is very sophisticated and a communication system, even much smarter than our mobile phone or internet Wi-Fi. And it is Wi-Fi, in fact, but incredibly low concentration and very specific. And nobody can, interfere or whisper or, how to say, track this specific communication between male and female of silkworm, and it is specific for the silkworm communication. Is it clear, Tasneem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any more question from anyone? I expect if you do not ask question, then I shall ask you question. So the best thing is that whatever in your mind, try to ask question.
Sir, I have a question. Actually, I have a clearance about these semiochemicals that pheromone and hormone, both are the semiochemicals. Then pheromone must be transported outside the body and have to work outside the body. And in that case, a hormone that must have to be inside the body to act in.
Yes, pheromone can be, mostly pheromones are intra-specific. For example, same species silkworm, a female secrete the pheromone, male can perceive it. So same species. And in case of ant also, ant you can see they walk on the same way, and they use trail pheromone. And even, for example, if you throw a stone on the beehive or wasp hive, you can see all the bees or wasp will come to you, attack you, and bite you or sting you because they use the alarm pheromone. So very tiny compounds, they can communicate and talk with each other and instantly take the decision. And obviously they are physiologically very important. Later we can talk how they perceive the pheromone signal from one another and how the signal process and give the decision, and it happens within fraction of the seconds, femtoseconds or like that. So a very, very interesting topic. And in case of hormone, yes, hormone, for example, in our human body, if any hormone, very small quantity, is changed, either physiologically higher level or lower level, hypo or hyper, both make robust impact on our physiology and health. Any question?
Sir, so the basic difference between a pheromone and a hormone will be a pheromone can affect other individuals of the population, but hormone when secreted only affects the individual with secret seeds. Is it right, sir?
There are some more differences also. Nice question. For example, pheromones are very small compound, very small, and they are volatile mostly, and size of the molecule is incredibly small. But in case of hormone, for example, insulin, big molecule, incredibly big molecule, and pheromones, they have no system for transport. For example, air, automatically they diffuse through the air or like that. But in case of hormone, there is a transport system in the animal. So there are lots of differences, but in both cases, they are very powerful, physiologically active biochemical. Some of the hormone, for example, thyroxine, can be synthesized in the industry, but insulin, we cannot make insulin industrially. Unusually complex structure, but pheromones, they are very small molecule, so you can make through organic synthesis very easily and can use commercially. Any more question?
Sir, would you please repeat the term arm race?
The term
Arm race. Sir, the arm race.
pardon, can you write in the chat box? What is
Sir,
the?
I think she is talking about arm race, sir.
Oh, yes, yes, arm race.
Arm race.
This is very interesting. In the earth, you know, US is the champion in arm race. Another country, once former Soviet Union, they spend billions of dollars for making the arm. Even a small country, Bangladesh, we also spend huge money for the, you know, army, navy, and air force. So arm race in the real world is going on, and sometimes very horrible impact of arm race, war, and others. Similarly, in the natural ecosystem, organisms are also, use different chemical substances, chemical weapons to, compete with each other. For example, the first antibiotic. What was the first antibiotic discovered by human? Do you know that?
Penicillin.
Yes, penicillin. Penicillin discovered from accidentally, actually discovered by Sir Alexander Fleming at Imperial College of London. I visited his lab, and penicillin produces by Penicillium notatum, which is a water mold fungus. Why? Because Penicillium notatum fungus also attacked by different other predators in the ecosystem. There is a food chain and food web. You possibly know that. So one organism eat others, and this is why organisms, to save themselves, they produce different toxins. So Penicillium notatum produces penicillin to stop other microorganisms not to eat the Penicillium notatum. So this is one kind of arm. They use chemical weapons. Similarly, for example, many insect also produces different toxin. In the natural world, for example, plant, I can give you a bright example. Plant produces lots of toxic substances. For example, bitter gourd. Okay, bitter gourd. I hope many of you like or maybe hate bitter gourd, tit corolla. But bitter gourd actually biosynthesizes cucurbit acid, a bitter compound. Why? To stop people eating the fruit. But some people over the years, they developed, they adopted a mechanism detoxify the cucurbit acid, and now they love this bitter gourd. If not bitter, they do not eat. And it is they developed some enzyme system which can detoxify and make this toxin ineffective for their health. So this is called co-evolutionary arm race, and it is happening in the all interactions among the organisms, between the organisms. For example, a microbe, some of the microbes are pathogen of the plant. So plant use some toxin to ward off, to stop their attack or pathogenesis. But microbes, over the years of evolutionary process, they make some enzyme which can detoxify, break down that toxin and overcome the barrier and infect the plant and kill the plant and eat the plant or like that. So this type of how to say arm race is hugely been going on all biomes and ecosystems. Scientists, ecological chemists, they discovered some of the fascinating stories. Naz, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Kashfi, do you have any question?
No, sir.
No question?
Nah, sir.
Okay.
Not yet.
How about Orin?
Yeah, I have one confusion, sir.
Yes, confusion. Please share your confusion.
Sir, how are we going to apply this knowledge in the field of biochemistry? Sir, all these are related to entomology.
Yes. How can we use in biochemistry? For example, you know, rhizobium plant, a legume plant have a friendship with rhizobium bacterium, and they allow bacterium in their root, allow habitat and make nodule. In the nodule, rhizobium bacterium stays and fix the atmospheric nitrogen to the plant. Plant cannot fix atmospheric nitrogen. So plant can fix a photon and get the energy and supply to the rhizobium. There is a classical, legume rhizobium symbiosis. But what chemical ecologists discovered, how the rhizobium bacterium locate the specific host, legume host. So they found that luteolin and some other secondary metabolites excreted from the root guide the rhizobium to find the right host. So what you can do, if you know the ecochemical interactions, if you know the mechanism, then you can apply it into the genetic engineering. For example, you mentioned the biochemistry. Insulin is biosynthesized by human. We cannot donate insulin to the diabetic patient. Scientists discovered the biosynthetic pathway of insulin in human. And that biosynthetic pathway, they engineered into E. coli or yeast. And now E. coli and yeast, overexpression of that gene, they are biosynthesizing insulin. And industrially, that insulin are used for the human. So human biochemistry is changing, and it is the most exciting example that some people debate on GMO and other things. But those who are debating, even if he is a diabetic patient, serious patient, he is taking the GM insulin. And you cannot find a single country on this earth who is against of using the GM insulin for saving the life. So this is an example. There are lots of examples, and you can even think new ways of utilizing the basic knowledge for the life. Any more question? Kashfi, you have no confusion even?
No, sir, not yet.
Any comment about this subject? How do you feel? How would be the journey of ecological chemistry?
Sir, it's interesting so far. Let's see.
It is interesting so far. Fine.
Yes.
Any other? For example, I can give you one very exciting example. In Egypt, there is, how to say, some vultures, which has, very beautiful beak, and they usually, love to eat animal dung. And scientists discovered why their beak is so beautiful. And they analyzed animal dung and they found that some pigments, secondary metabolites, are at high concentration there. And this is why those pigments, during feeding, biochemical process, they are deposited on the beak, as I mentioned in case of butterfly. And scientists are now using those, uh, chemicals, ecochemicals, in the cosmetics for the beautification of human also, skin, fair or bright skin or like that. So there are plenty of use. For example, perfume. You possibly use perfume. Whole perfume industry is based on ecochemicals, because all are ecochemicals discovered from plants or other sources, volatile compounds, organism used to attract the friend or organism used to deter the enemy. But scientists discovered all the compounds and developed the synthetic process, and now they are using different mixture blend of those aromatic compounds. We are using the perfume. Can you imagine the volume of perfume industry, how big and how pervasive worldwide? You cannot find a single country who are not using the perfume. So this is one of the robust application, not entomology. Another robust and application is, it has been practiced since ancient time, that is drug. Different drugs, morphine or others, very bad thing, but they are also ecochemical. Scientists discovered and studied the biological activity thoroughly, and some of them, for example, cannabis. Cannabis in US, Canada, they opened its use, because cannabis, gaza, in our country, it is banned in many countries, but those compounds have powerful medicinal principles, in addition to be addicted or destroy the human. So morphine, for example, morphine is one of the important alkaloid discovered from poppy, Papaver somniferum pod. And morphine, if there is no painkiller in this earth, then morphine is still the last resort. So morphine people used in the ancient time until now. And the biggest problem is if someone takes morphine, even as a drug, next day, at the same time, the person biological clock will want to get the same thing again. This is the addiction is the big problem. But anyway, there are huge medicines all over the world. A large proportion of the human medicines are ecochemicals. Any question? Any comment? Can you guess my background image? What is it?
Wheat
Wheat field
field.
in Meherpur.
Yes. You see our people, our team members, how nicely they do the experiment on wheat. Wheat blast, we are fighting against this fungus, a small fungus. Worldwide people are fighting against it, but even though we are not in the winning seat. So this year we have also experiment in the Meherpur, and as well as in our campus. We have been doing experiment since 2016. So in our lab, wheat blast is the number one enemy or research topic. Although it is enemy for human, but it is a subject of fascinating career of many young people. And we shall discuss one day how a wheat fungus and a wheat plant communicate with each other through ecochemicals. Okay. If no question, then is it possible to shift this Sunday class from morning to the 12:15 or like that? Do anyone have any problem, because it is overlapped with my undergrad lecture? Other schedule is okay. If no problem, then I shall shift the Sunday class set at 12:15, and every lecture you will get in video format uploaded in the YouTube, and you will get the link through your Facebook group. One important advice for you: try to make your Facebook group very productive, because this is a nice virtual classroom, and you can ask questions, you can reply questions of others, and even I can interact with you, and we shall share lots of stuffs related to ecological chemistry through this platform, and it would be open for 24 hours, 7 days, and anytime you like, you can browse. And important information I also share through this page, including the YouTube lecture. Thank you very much, and have a good day.